Hi guys! Welcome to Uy, Tara Usap Podcast with Tara. And I'm here with Attorney Maf. So, kasi, di ba nakakurious tayo, may nakukulong ba sa utak? O, di ba, diretso na? Kasi, as you all know, I am an advocate for utang responsibly. Kasi, syempre, ang dami nababaon sa utang and hindi mo naman naiiwasan yun kasi may mga emergency, may mga kailangang bayaran, or may biglang may na-ospital, and then kunwari kailangan na magbayad ng tuition, and minsan nagagalaw natin in advance. Ngayon, attorney, ang i-discuss natin today is, may nababaon ba talaga sa utang? And ano yung mga legal way na paniningil sa mga tao? Kasi ako, personally, ang POV ko dyan, syempre, nabaon ako sa utang dati. Marami akong online lending app na hiniraman. Kasi syempre, alam nyo naman na kapag nagsuscroll lang tayo sa phone natin, madaling mangutang. Kasi ang minimum or ang qualification lang is ID. 'Di ba? Kapag pumunta ka sa bangko, kailangan ng collateral, kailangan ng contact reference. Dito, ID lang, primary,
Right.
tapos contact number, email address, yun lang. Pero dito, sobrang dali. Tanungin muna natin si attorney kung ano yung mga nagawa natin before, kailan ka graduate, kasi pares kaming 20s.
Yes.
So, hindi namin sasabihin
Gen
kung
Z.
kung early 20s or late 20s, basta kayo na mag-judge. So, Attorney Max, sige, share with us naman your activities. Yung mga nagawa before yun.
Hi, my name is Attorney Mafil May Alcanencia. You can call me Maf. For short, I'm Attorney Maf. I am a full-time litigation lawyer and also a part-time professor at New Era University. And I'm also actually the Chief Legal Officer of MR Group of Companies Incorporated.
Wow!
Yes. I'm also a business consultant. So, alam mo na.
Palakpakan kayo dyan sa baba! Okay. Tama na. How long have you been doing this, attorney? Kasi syempre, di ba, lalo na for millennials, di ba?
Yeah.
Ang tagal natin nag-aral, ganyan. So, ang tanong ko, worth it ba yung pag-aaral mo?
Oo naman. Tignan mo naman ngayon, di ba, medyo umaasenso na tayo sa buhay.
May mga advocacy na.
Oo.
So, attorney, first question, di ba kanina na-mention mo sa akin, before, nagbe-briefing kami, na ang dami mong client na estafa.
Grabe ka sa sobrang dami. Sakto lang. Pero
Gano'ng kadami ang madami?
Most of my clients now are estafa cases.
So, perfect yan sa i-discuss natin ngayon kasi kung may utang ka ba, pwede ka ba file na estafa? Or baranggayan muna. So, ano yung mga levels na yun?
Okay.
So, unang question is, may nakukulong ba sa utang?
Okay, first and foremost, wala. Because our Constitution, the 1987 Constitution, provides that no one shall be imprisoned for non-payment of debt. Now,
So, mangutang tayo, guys. Kasi
no, utang responsibly.
Okay. So, ano yung process nun? Like, kunwari ako, nangutang ako sa'yo, attorney. So, first case, like, case-to-case basis. Nangutang ako sa'yo ng 500K. Hindi na ako nagre-reply, hindi na ako natatawagan. As an attorney na inutangan, ano yung first step na gagawin mo?
First, you have to demand. Kasi you have to demand para makuha mo yung pera. Now, the formal way of demanding to someone na may utang is through a formal demand letter. So, technically, yung tawag mo and everything, sometimes it doesn't hold water in court.
Oh.
You have to have a letter.
Black and white?
Yes, black and white.
Okay.
Dapat ilagay mo din doon kung kailan yung due date, kung magkano yung total amount of the due amount ng utang. So, hindi pwede na call, text. Dapat may formal letter.
That leads me with the online lending apps.
Yeah.
So, kapag kahit ba 1K, pwede ba silang mangutang ng black and white or pwedeng call or text?
Pwede.
Like, di ba sinabi mo before na kailangan may demand letter ka? So, sila, yung mga nangutang sa online lending, tinatawagan sila in text. So, ibig sabihin ba nun, hindi yun pasok sa court or how do you
Well, technically, practically speaking, i-raise mo pa ba sa court yung 1K peso na utang?
Oo, sa
Kasi
bagay.
usually, yun lang yung mga online lending
syempre.
apps ngayon, di ba? Parang mga 15K, mga ganon.
Oo,
Ganon lang kasi. Pero if you really want this to be raised sa court, you need to have a formal demand letter.
Okay. Next question would be, may interest rate ba pag nangungutang? Like, attorney, nangutang ka sa akin, 10K, gusto ko 100K ang balik. So, tama ba yun?
Okay, pwede, pero it has to be written on paper. Dapat nakalagay dun sa agreement nyo na there is, halimbawa, 10% interest. Now, if yung agreement nyo walang nakalagay na interest, ang pwede lang isingil sa'yo is principal amount. Hindi pwedeng singilin sa'yo yung interest kasi it has to be written on paper.
Okay. So, sa mga online lending app kasi, kapag Hindi ko alam kung na-try mo na kasi syempre ako, veterans ako doon eh. Kasi meron naman talagang
Agreement
contract
naman,
talaga. Tapos sa signature mo,
yes.
e-sign.
Mm.
So, pasok naman yung e-sign.
Yes, pasok naman yung e-sign.
Oo. Eh, nakalagay doon yung interest. Syempre, ang haba nun.
Mm-mm.
And yung mga tao,
Hindi na nagbabasa. So, yun yung dapat natin gawin. Kahit sobrang haba, always try to make it a point na at least naintindihan mo yung nasa black and white. Kasi yun yung dadalhin mo sa korte if ever magkasuhan man kayo.
Okay. So, ibig sabihin, kapag yung mga online lending app, nagrereklamo yung mga nangutang na mataas yung interest, okay lang yun kasi on
Yes.
paper.
Okay lang, pero if you try to argue in court, most of the Supreme Court cases, usually sinasabi na usurious talaga yung interest rate ngayon na ginagawa ng mga banks or yung online lending apps. Kasi, to be honest, ang recommended interest rate ngayon ng BSP, if I'm not mistaken, is 6%.
Hanggang
6%
doon lang.
ang legal interest rate as of now. Kung lumagpas ka doon, sometimes it's considered as usurious. But since you agreed to it, you have no choice but to pay for it. But if you argue in court, halimbawa, umabot kayo sa court and lagpas 6%, usually ang decision ng court, yung legal interest lang ipapabayad sa'yo. In a long line of Supreme Court cases.
Wow. That's real number 2. Okay. So, maganda na may expert tayo. Okay. Ano ang dapat gawin kung nahaharas ng online lending apps? Sa text, sa tawag, sa online, papahiyain ka daw. So, ano yung pwedeng gawin ng mga tao?
Number 1 is you have to compile all of it. Screenshot mo. Basta save mo all of those copies. Then you can report it to Securities and Exchange Commission. Kasi sometimes they don't entertain complaints if you have no exhibits, if you have no attached proof.
Yes.
You can also go to PNP, file a complaint. And pwede rin sa National Privacy Commission. Because kapag kinontak na nila yung mga nasa contact list mo, tapos walang paalam sa'yo na dun sila, on that way sila maniningil, that is a violation of our privacy laws also.
Ganda ng mga sagot. Hindi ko matatapos sa time in 5 minutes. Pwede bang ipahiya o tawagan ang mga contacts ng mga borrower? Legal ba?
Ang dapat lang singilin ng mga online lending apps or kahit sino is the person that they lent money to. Hindi pwedeng isama mo sa paniningil yung family. Hindi naman sila yung contact person ng online lending apps or kung sino man yan. Although they can ask questions as to andyan pa ba nakatira, ganon. Pero
Pwede
hindi
pala yun.
there are banks who are doing that, but they must not disclose that there is a pending obligation on them. Pwede nilang tanungin, andyan pa ba nakatira si ganito? Dito pa ba nag-work si ganito? Pero, hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na may utang kasi siya sa amin. Can you give them the contact information of X person?
Got it. Hindi ko alam yun. Kasi, di ba, ang utang ba na mamana?
Okay. Ito ang...
Ganda ng question ko.
yeah, you got it.
Let's go, Natalia.
Attorney Ida, marami pong salamat sa iyong mga lectures. Ito po ang isasagot ko sa ating host. Ang utang ay hindi namamana. Halimbawa, ikaw, na mayapa ka, meron kang property worth 1M. Ang utang mo is 1.5 million. Ang pwede lang singilin is yung estate mo, which is yung 1M. Yung 500 na kulang, hindi yun pwedeng singilin sa mga anak. So, kung ano lang yung estate mo,
ano yung estate?
yung total amount of your properties, all of your properties, like money, land, kung may crypto ka, stocks, bonds, yun, kasama yun sa estate mo. All of your assets. At the time of your death.
So total lang na estate
Yes.
dapat.
So in short, hindi namamana ang utang. Kung ano lang yung properties mo at the time of death, doon lang sila pwedeng kumubra.
Okay. Gets ko na. Kailan nagiging estafa ang hindi pagbabayad ng utang?
Nagiging estafa ang hindi pagbabayad ng utang kapag there is an intent to defraud. Pag from the onset pa lang, alam mong there is an intention not to pay. Halimbawa, nangutang ka. Pero at the back of your mind, hindi ko talaga babayaran to Doon siya naging estafa. Now, it's difficult to prove in court. Kaya, we are going back to the constitutional provision that no one shall be imprisoned for non-payment of debt. Kasi mahirap siya i-prove, di ba? Ang hirap i-prove. Paano mo sasabihin na, halimbawa, ikaw, nangutang ako sa'yo. Paano mo ipo-prove na sa court na, ay, wala talaga siyang intention magbayad,
Sa mood niya.
Oo, di ba? Wala kang proof, di ba? Intention is so difficult to prove in court.
Correct. Okay.
So,
correct. Bakit ang hirap. Paano depende ko sa utak mo? Okay.
Diba?
Ano ang dapat bantayan bago pirmahan ang loan contract? Diba sinabi mo na kanina na kailangan basahin? Ano pa yung mga clauses na dapat bantayan natin, I guess?
Well, number 1 is yung interest rate. You have to check it talaga Pero syempre, pag layman, halimbawa, gipit ka na talaga, check mo pa ba yung interest rate?
Hindi, kailangan mo na
eh.
now eh.
Oo, 'di ba? So, kung hindi ka naman ganun kagipit, as much as possible, my advice is you have to check kung ano ba yung effective interest rate. Kasi minsan, ang minamarket kasi is like 1% lang per day or 0.5% per day, ganito. Pero if you compute it annually, 50%, 30%, it's very usurious. Pero yung legal interest is just 6%.
Gets.
So, you have to check it. And kung hindi ka agree sa terms, don't fall for it. Pero yun nga, then again, mahirap ang buhay. You have to, walang choice ang sumbayan ng Pilipino.
Okay, eto wala to sa mga list of questions.
Mm.
Kabahan. Hindi, gusto ko lang itanong. Like, for example, nag-migrate ako. Ang dami kong utang sa Philippines. Hahabulin pa ba ako?
Modern era na kasi tayo ngayon. So, yung mga demands kasi, pwede pa rin through email. So, it does hold water kasi black and white pa din siya. They can still send your other formal demand dun sa latest known address mo.
Paano nila malalaman nagtago ko?
No, yung sa Philippines.
Criminal era. So, ano ang tamang proseso na pagsingil na dapat sundin ng mga lending companies? Is it via text? Is it via email? Is it via call? Ano yung pwede nilang gawin?
They can do that. Yung mga calls, emails, it's still a form of demand. Pero kung formal demand, yung something that would hold water in court, it's the formal demand letter which is sent to your last known address. That is how lending company should demand.
Okay. So, lending companies, watch out.
Watch out.
Okay. Ano ang pwedeng ikaso ng borrower laban sa lending app o collector na nananakot? Kasi sabi mo kanina, pwede Data Privacy Act.
Yes.
Pwede ba yung mga cyber libel?
Yes, pwede yung cyber libel. Ano, not cyber libel. No, pwede rin sa National Privacy Commission. Sa National Privacy Commission, yun yung kapag ginagamit na yung other people para maningil sila. Yun.
Okay.
Violation yun sa privacy laws. Pwede rin sa Securities and Exchange Commission. Lalo na kapag may violation sa Truth in Lending Act. Kasi kailangan i-disclose kasi ng mga lenders kung magkano ba talaga yung interest. Kasi dati, may mga instances din ata na hindi truthful ang lender kung magkano ba talaga yung interest. So, ang nangyayari, nababaon sa utang. So, yun. What I would recommend really is SEC and National Privacy Commission.
Okay.
Well, you have to be patient kasi sobrang tagal nung process. Yun lang yung downside nun eh.
Oo, tapos 1K lang.
Oo, di ba 1K lang? Kaya yun yung sinasabi ko eh. Minsan, it doesn't really positively affect yung
case mo.
Oo.
Kasi nga 1K.
1K lang. Eh, usually, yun lang yung mga pinapautang ng mga lending apps. Parang max na nga ata yung 50K. I'm not sure. 50K. Ayun. So, ayun. Mahirap ipaglaban ang karapatan natin.
Okay. So, may last question. What can you say about dun sa mga nabaon sa utang? Like, legally, ano yung mga pwede nilang gawin? Bukod dun sa screenshots.
Okay.
Top 3 things siguro.
Top 3 things. Okay, top 3 things kapag ka nabaon ka sa utang. Number 1 is manood kayo ng video si Dave Ramsey. Because he gives a step-by-step process kung paano
recover.
Yes. Although this applies to the US laws, pero yung practical advice niya kasi
applies to everybody.
Sabi niya, number 1, you have to list down all of your debts. Kasi there's no way to get out of it but to list them down and hit them one by one. To crush them one by one. So, list down all of your debts. Then, you prepare a baby emergency fund. Sinabi niya to baby emergency fund, meaning, sa kanya, $1,000. So, around 50K. Ipunin mo yung baby emergency fund. After mo naipon yun, dun ka magbayad ng lahat ng debts mo. Snowball. Pinakamaliit na amount hanggang sa pinakamalaki. Hanggang sa maubos yan lahat. Then, dun ka na sa emergency fund na 3 to 6 months and then investments. That is really how I advise some of my clients na nalubog sa utang is to prepare their baby emergency fund and then snowball. Pay all of your debts. From the lowest amount to the highest amount.
Wow. Ang dami kong natutunan kung ano yung mga idedemanda ko. And end of the day, we have to do, like, sasabi ko nga, utang responsibly. And we understand that everybody, like, has emergency bills to pay. Pero I guess it would be really great if may mga emergency fund tayo para may papagugutan tayo nung mga money na kakailanganin natin. And I guess that's it for my podcast. And I hope you can, guys, support me through my Spotify and YouTube and Attorney Maf. Kindly promote your social media accounts.
I have my TikTok at Attorney Maf and Instagram Mafi Papi. Yun lang.
I hope you guys learned something from us and thank you so much, Attorney Maf, for
thank
this
you so much for having
this
me.
podcast. Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.